Hello everybody, welcome back to the Briarheart 2 YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be looking at the next installment of the 12th season of classic Doctor Who, and that is the Sontaran experiment, and I'm just gonna jump right in with my thoughts on the plot. The only real reason this story exists is to fill episodes and to tie up a loose end from the arc in space. At the end of the last story, Vira sent the TARDIS crew down to Earth to repair the transmat system that connects the arc in space to the Earth. And while they're on Earth, they discover a Sontaran experimenting on another group of Earth survivors who I guess came back to Earth for some reason. I can't remember. The story isn't really clear on why they're there, I think. Anyway, so the Sontaran is experimenting on this group of surviving humans to further the war effort between them and the Rutans, I guess. Why else does a Sontaran do anything in Doctor Who? But it's all a bit vague. You don't really know why all this is happening. You just know that it's happening and the Doctor has to stop it. And it really is just a bunch of filler fluff. It's only 2 episodes long and not a lot happens in it. The payoff is really good. There is a fight scene at the end that is really fucking cool, but it's let down by a big thing, which I'll get to in a second. But overall, this one's sort of just looking at it objectively. I personally quite enjoy it, despite its obvious just fillerness. I think it's fun. I like it. I can sit down for an hour and enjoy it, but a lot of people don't like it because not a lot happens in it. The stakes aren't very high, and it is, I'll admit, it is sort of just a pointless 45 minutes. However, unlike the last 2 reviews, I'm thinking on this one, since it's a story that is typically seen in a negative light anyway, I might just be a bit more positive about it this time around. I want to talk about the things I like about it. So the first thing I want to mention, as this is the story for it, is Harry, for the first time, really gets to go off on his own, and we focus on him for a bit, and he shines. I absolutely love Ian Marter's character. I love Harry Sullivan as a character. I think he's great. He's my favorite 4th Doctor companion, and it's a shame that we don't get to see a lot of him. So Harry is doing most of the exploring in this story, along with Sarah, but a lot of it is Harry, because my theory is, Tom Baker broke his collarbone performing one of the early stunts in this story, so I imagine he was out of commission for quite a bit of it, and that's why there are a lot of scenes later on where someone who obviously isn't Tom Baker is playing the Doctor for a lot of the stunts that Tom Baker may have done himself if he was well at the time. But no, Tom Baker takes a back seat in this one because he injured himself, and so Harry and Sarah are at the forefront of it. And in my opinion, they do a very nice job of carrying the very absent story, I suppose. I don't know, it's always just sort of been a pleasure for me to sit down and watch this story and see Harry get to do some stuff, because he doesn't get to do a lot during his time on the TARDIS. I just really, really enjoyed that aspect of it. The next aspect I like, and it's one I think everyone will agree on, is the Part 1 cliffhanger is absolutely amazing. Out of all the reveals in the show where, the monster's name is in the title, and the cliffhanger is the monster being revealed, as dumb as that is, this one does it really nicely because of the fear in Elizabeth Sladen's eyes when she watches the Sontaran emerge from its ship and take off its mask. The music, the performance, the way the closing sting comes in, It's just great. And like if you think of it from a narrative perspective, that performance is even better because obviously Sarah Jane's first adventure with the Doctor saw her face up against Lynx, one of the most badass Sontarans out there. So to see her reaction to this other potato head as she's just tied up and helpless, it makes for a really dramatic and tense cliffhanger. I think it's done really really well. Now another cool bit of this story comes from the very end of the story, where the Doctor challenges the Sontaran, I can't remember his name, to a duel, and we have this really nicely choreographed fight scene for classic Who. The only downside is the way it's shot. You can clearly tell that there's a stunt double in place of Tom Baker, and that's an issue for a lot of this story because of Tom Baker's broken collarbone. Obviously, he probably wouldn't have done this scene. It would have been a stunt double either way, but the editors and the guys behind the cameras really didn't do a good job of trying to hide that it wasn't Tom Baker, and so it just comes across as relatively fake. But the fight scene itself, like the way it's choreographed, is really well done and really nice, and I really enjoy it. But yeah, there's some exciting stuff in here. There's some stuff in here that I can find enjoyment out of. I can understand why some other people might find little or absolutely no enjoyment out of watching this story, but I do find a bit of enjoyment out of it. It's not great. I wouldn't even call it good. I can have fun with it, but I can see why others don't, and why it's largely viewed as one of the weaker Tom Baker stories.